Imagine you just won the lottery, but instead of taking home the cash, you decided to buy a timeshare in the middle of nowhere. That's basically what some teams did in the 2018 NBA draft. Today, we're going to fix their mistakes. We're counting down from 10 to 1, showing who should have been picked and how this would have completely changed the NBA landscape. Alright, let's jump in, starting with
the 10th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Mikal Bridges.
Drafted by the 76ers and immediately traded to the Suns. His mom literally worked for the Sixers and they still shipped him out. Now that's what I would call cold-blooded. He became an elite 3 and D wing, averaging 17.2 points per game, 4.5 rebounds per game, and shooting 38.6% from deep. But don't worry, we'll be seeing him again soon. You won't want to miss what's coming up next, so stay tuned. The new pick that we would assign would be Anfernee Simons, originally drafted number 24 by the Portland Trail Blazers. One of the youngest players in the draft at just 19 years old, skipping college entirely to go straight from IMG Academy to the NBA. He's an explosive scorer who has developed into a legitimate 20-plus point per game player, averaging 22.6 points per game in 2023, while shooting nearly 40% from three-point land. He's also an elite shot creator with a deep bag. Step backs, pull-ups, and ridiculous range make him a nightmare to guard. He has improved his playmaking skills, showing he's more than just a scorer with 4.1 assists per game in 2023. Simons could have been a really great pick in Philadelphia. Now, could he have saved the Embiid-Simmons pairing? Maybe not.
The 9th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the New York Knicks select Kevin Knox.
Knicks fans were hype on draft night for about 10 minutes. Kevin Knox averaged 12.8 points per game as a rookie, but quickly fell off a cliff, never developing into a consistent NBA player. He recently just signed a 10-day deal with the Golden State Warriors, and we're going to give the Knicks the new pick of Donte DiVincenzo, who was originally drafted number 17 by the Milwaukee Bucks. DiVincenzo is a 10.4 point per game, 4.1 rebound per game elite perimeter defender and a career 36% three-point shooter. He was a key piece in the Bucks' 2021 championship run before injuries slowed him down. He's been bounced around a bit, but he found his groove with Golden State, proving himself as a valuable role player. In 2023-2024 season, he opted out of his player option and secured the bag, a 4-year, $46.87 million deal with the New York Knicks. And he's been delivering for the Knicks, putting up 15.5 points per game, 3.7 rebounds per game, and 2.7 assists per game, earning himself a key role on the team. But just when Knicks fans thought they had something special, boom, in October of 2024, he gets traded as part of a blockbuster deal that brought the Knicks big man Karl-Anthony Towns. The Knicks, of course, took the long and much more difficult road, but they did finally end up getting their man.
The 8th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Collin Sexton.
Sexton is an explosive scorer, averaging 24.3 points per game in 2021 before his injuries hit. However, our new pick would still be Collin Sexton. There's no change here. That's right, sometimes even a broken clock is right twice a day, and Cleveland actually nailed their pick. After missing most of 2022 due to injury, Sexton bounced back in 2023, averaging 18.9 points per game and 4.2 assists per game, while shooting a career-high 39.5% from deep. Now he is even better, shooting an impressive 41.2% this season. Sexton is still one of the fastest guards in the league with a relentless scoring mentality. However, Cleveland ended up shipping him to Utah in the Donovan Mitchell trade. Pretty good job overall for the Cavs.
And now with the 7th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Wendell Carter Jr. from Duke University.
Now, there's nothing really wrong with Wendell Carter Jr. He's a solid big man, a pretty good defender, and overall pretty good rebounder, averaging 8.8 points per game and 7.3 rebounds per game with Orlando this season. He just missed our top 10 in this redraft because he's still a pretty good player in our opinion. However, in our redraft, we have them taking Michael Porter Jr., who was originally drafted number 14 by Denver. Michael Porter Jr. is an elite shooter, averaging 19.0 points per game on 41.7% from 3 this season. The only reason he actually slid to the 14th pick in 2018 was because of a serious back injury that limited his freshman year at Missouri, and he had teams sweating bullets. Denver took the risk though, and let's be honest, it paid off. In this redraft, teams are still a little hesitant, but the talent is too good to ignore. Imagine MPJ in Chicago. Could that have changed their years of mediocrity? Well, I'm still skeptical about that, but let's be honest. In real life, he gets to play with Jokic and he got paid, and I'm pretty sure he's happy about how 2018 ended up.
With the 6th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Orlando Magic select Mohamed Bamba.
This was an all-potential draft pick, and let's just say we are still waiting on that potential to show itself. The new pick is Mikal Bridges, who was originally drafted number 10 by Philadelphia and then traded to Phoenix. Mikal Bridges has turned into one of the best two-way players in the NBA. He's a defensive nightmare who can also drop 20 plus on any given night. Orlando gets a franchise cornerstone instead of a backup big man. Seriously. Imagine adding Bridges into the core of Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Jalen Suggs. How much damage could that core do in the Eastern Conference? But like the previous pick, I'm sure Bridges is happy with how it all turned out. He's got a finals appearance in Phoenix, he was traded for Kevin Durant, and now plays in New York with 2 of his college teammates and best friends. Moral of the story, drafting elite wings is always a good idea. Drafting bigs with hope, maybe not so much.
5th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Trae Young from the University.
And I think we're going to keep Trae Young in Dallas. With 25 plus points per game and 9 plus assists per game, he's become one of the best playmakers in the NBA. But something happened in the real life draft, and I can't quite remember what it was. Oh, how could I forget? They traded Trae Young and a future first round pick to the Hawks for Luka Doncic. Good job by the Mavs on this one, because this is the only Luka trade that they actually won.
With the 4th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Jaren Jackson Jr.
Now, this one we have to say the Grizzlies got right, and there's no need to overthink it. Defensive Player of the Year? Check. Floor spacing big? Another check. Key piece for a contender? Absolutely. But in 2024-25, Triple J is showing he's more than just a defensive specialist. He's playing the best basketball of his career and expanding his offensive arsenal. He's had new career highs, he has improved efficiency and a bigger role in crunch time. Memphis is finally unleashing him.
The 3rd pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Luka Doncic.
Yeah, I know, we'll talk about him later. You think I'm just going to give away that discussion right now? Come on. That's like skipping straight to the final boss in a video game. You got to earn this moment. But first, we're going to shine a light on a guy who wasn't even supposed to be in this conversation. The new pick at number 3 is Jalen Brunson, who was originally drafted number 33 overall by Dallas. Now, let's be honest, back in 2018, not many people thought we'd be talking about Jalen Brunson like this. He was a 2nd round pick, a backup point guard. Most analysts thought he'd have a nice quiet career, maybe even carve out a role as a solid 6th man. Instead, he said, nah, I think I'll just take over the entire New York Knicks franchise instead. 26 points per game, 7.6 assists per game, and leading the Knicks with the leadership of a 10-year veteran. Who saw this coming? Not Dallas, that's for sure. They let him walk away for nothing, and to make matters worse, Brunson was willing to sign a 4-year, $55 million contract, but the Mavs thought he wasn't that good. Now that's a big oops on the Mavericks, and with that, we should have known what was coming.
The 2nd pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Sacramento Kings select Marvin Bagley III.
Now, the Kings front office might want to pretend this pick never happened, and we're going to do that too, because the new pick is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who was originally drafted number 11 by the Clippers. Now, when Shai entered the league, most people thought he'd be a solid role player. OKC had an idea he could be good, and that's why they demanded he be involved in the Paul George trade. But I don't think even they thought he was going to be this good. Now, year 7 in the league, he's had 2 MVP top 5 finishes and is the favorite this year to win the whole damn thing. He's averaged over 30 plus points per game for the last 2 seasons and now is playing the best ball of his life. He doesn't dunk on you, he doesn't overpower you. He just glides into the paint, gets a foul call, and walks to the line like it's just another day at the office.
Pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select DeAndre Ayton.
Now, DeAndre Ayton is not bad. He's a solid player. He's a pick in the 8 to 12 range, sure, but number 1 with all the guys that are behind you, that's not the pick you want to look back on. That's why you won't find Ayton in our top 10. The Suns had a chance to take a generational talent, and they missed. The new pick is, of course, Luka Doncic, who was originally drafted number 3 by Atlanta and traded to Dallas. The best player in this class, period. There's no debate, no hesitation, no, but what if? No, it's just Luka. Some people thought, oh, the NBA is different. He won't be able to adapt. Maybe he's too slow. Maybe he's not athletic enough. Yeah, about that. While American prospects were playing high school ball and maybe a year of college, Luka was out here winning a EuroLeague championship and MVP at 19. Experience? Pressure? He'd already handled it all before stepping foot in the NBA. Now he's an MVP candidate every year. He's an unstoppable scorer and playmaker and one of the most unguardable players we may have ever seen. He's had one of the best first 7 years to a career in the history of the NBA. And if the Suns drafted Luka, there'd be no KD trade, no desperate attempts to build a contender, just Booker and Luka running the West for a decade. Luka with Phoenix's roster could have been an all-time team. Instead, they are at the bottom of the West with the highest payroll in the league. Moral of the story? If there's a 19-year-old cooking pros overseas like a seasoned vet, maybe don't overthink it. Thank you again so much for watching, and if you haven't already, check out my 2025 trade deadline video to see the Mavericks screw up their great job in this draft by trading away that generational talent that we just talked about. Your support really helps this channel grow, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.